Hello, and for the first time, welcome to my channel. Hi, welcome. Grab a cup of tea. You will soon learn about me that I love a herbal tea. But grab a tea, grab a coffee, grab a juice, water, whatever your preference is. Because today we're going to be talking and starting to speak and set the scene, I guess, a little bit about who I am, how did I come on my grieving journey, and why have I called this channel No Time to Cry. So, hello, welcome to my page. I think I've already said that, but I'm so excited to say that. Hello. So this has been something that I've actually been thinking about doing since literally 2 weeks after my mum passed away, and I thought my grieving journey had started there, but oh boy was I wrong. I did not know what was in store for me for the next 2 years following the sudden and unexpected death of my mum, and it has been horrendous. It has been extremely sad. I've gone through every single emotion that you can think of that is under this sun. I've been there. I've got the t-shirt in every emotion basically. So I guess a bit of a background to why I'm doing this before I go on to who I am and who my mum was, is firstly when I lost my mum, I searched high and low for content and podcasts that I could relate to, and it was bloody hard to find. Okay, you'll learn through the vlogs that I also experienced what is known as complicated grief, and that was also a very, very, very big learning curve for me. It was emotionally draining. It was, just awful, the complicated side of grief. But we will come on to that in another vlog. Today we're just going to do the intros, say hi. But yeah, I guess I just wanted to put something out there where people can almost like have a bit of a comfort blanket. And I'm really hoping that that's what these videos are. I really hope that there is some bits in here that you can relate to if you're on your grieving journey, or if you are, caring for somebody on their grieving journey. During the vlogs, I am going to fetch Josh, my boyfriend, into a vlog, just so he can speak about, how he dealt with things and how did he feel. He was really close to my mum. My mum absolutely adored him, and he has been amongst my friends, my best friends, Annie and Lucy in particular, and my family, my dad. You'll learn as we go on that I'm very close to my dad, but Josh really has been a rock, and I think that it's really important that you do surround yourself with such a good support unit. And if you don't have immediate family, and if you don't have people that you think you can talk to, then I want this video to be that comfort to you. So you know that all of the emotions that you're feeling, everything that you're going through, is completely what we would call some kind of normal. Okay, so yeah, I hope that's what these videos are going to fetch, just a little bit of warmth to your life, and we're gonna cry together, we're gonna laugh together, I'm gonna embarrass myself numerous times in front of you guys, but I really hope you get a feel for me, and it's just to share my grieving journey. So, intro to me. So I am Jamie. I've already said I'm obsessed with herbal tea. I have a dog called George. He will probably feature. You'll probably hear his tappiness going around on the floor at some point. I live in Yorkshire in the UK, and yeah, I think that's all you really need to know about me for the time being. You will learn more as we go on. But I sadly lost my mum in 2021, 25th of January 2021, and she passed of natural causes. This is so weird saying out loud because I haven't told many people how she died. I think people are curious, but it always feels like a bit of an elephant in the room situation. And yeah, so my mum passed of natural causes. She passed in her sleep. She had a brain hemorrhage in her sleep, and so she had a few bleeds on her brain, and it was instant. So we know from a coroner's report that there had been no pain, no nothing like that. But yeah, I lost my bestest friend at 25, and I feel like I've been bloody robbed. One thing I guess that really cuts me up about the whole of this horrendous and traumatic experience and the death of my mum is it really cuts me up to even think about like getting married or starting a family, and just knowing that she won't be in here in person, but she's definitely around somewhere. That really cuts me up, and I haven't quite come to terms. I don't think I'll ever come to terms with that she won't like me when the time comes that I have a family and things like that. And yeah, I'm going to talk more on that like in another video, and you'll have to bear with if I do, you know, tear up like that. I will try and pause and compose myself to be able to carry on, but we have got a hell of a lot to go through. I have had a hell of a lot gone on in the past 2 years, but yeah, so let's delve into who Mrs. Alexandra Duncan Armstrong. She was known as Sandra. Who was she? Well, she was 56 when she passed. She passed literally weeks before her 57th birthday, and she was brilliant. She was the life and soul of a party. She'd always be first up to dance. She was always smiling. She would give you her last penny. She was very caring. She was very loving in a weird way, and we will delve into how my mum shown her love, because it was a little bit strange. She wasn't very affectionate all the time, but when you did get affection, it actually meant more, because it wasn't something that was shown all the time. She was around 5'2". She had short hair. So I will include a photo here of Mummy, and this is her actually when she was in Paris with my dad and I was in her tummy. So yeah, that photo was taken at least 27 years ago, probably in the summer of like 95. So yeah, I'll include a photo of her here, and then I will put one here or here, I don't know which way it'll go, of my mum recently, so you can see like a young photo of her and as she sort of was before she passed away, just so you can build an image of this lady that we're speaking about, which is my mum. she was a Scottish. That is my best Scottish impression that you'll probably ever get, because I am not Scottish. Well, obviously I've got Scottish in me from my mum, but I am not Scottish, and I sit in a room of family talking Scottish and it's literally like me watching ping pong, trying to keep up with conversation. She didn't talk Scottish. You only got the Scottish twang, I used to call it, when she was around family, and boy was it bloody strong. I could barely understand her. But yeah, so she was a fabulous lady, but my mum did have her demons, and my mum suffered with depression for around 20 to 21 years, and it was only sort of like brought to life after a number of years had sort of passed. And when I actually spoke to my mum about that, she actually said that it sort of stemmed from postnatal depression. And me and mum spoke very openly about that, and she told me, you know, what she sort of felt and things like that. And it was so heartbreaking to hear, because as a child of a parent that's telling you they have postnatal depression, automatically you put the blame of how they're feeling on you. And she used to reassure me, you know, it was although it was to do me, it wasn't to do with me, it was her, you know. And I just want to point out on these vlogs that although I have experience of caring with for someone that had a mental health illness, I am in no way, shape or form ever going to give advice on that subject, because you need to get professional help, and that's not something that I can provide. My mum did attend chimp management. After many years we got in touch with them, and I will talk more about chimp and how we've set up a foundation and things like that. I will delve more into that as we go through the journey. But let's keep it light, let's keep it snappy, and, you know, wanting to hopefully not go on for too long today. It's just to give you guys an insight. But yeah, she was a brilliant woman. But yeah, she did have her demons, and yeah, that's sort of like who my mum was in a very short snip. I can't go into words of everything about mum. She was brilliant, she was hilarious, she was amazing, and I miss her so much. You know, you talk about things, and music, especially if I know for myself and my dad, music fetches back a lot of memories, and we associate a lot with music. And there'll be times when me and dad are in the car, and especially if we've got Heart 80s on, the era that they met, and one song can come on the radio and my dad will just bawl, absolutely bawl, and he'll tell me stories about where they were, how old they were, and what they were doing when he first heard that song. Or yeah, it's lovely to hear. I love people talking about my mum, and I don't think people do talk to me about my mum all that much, and I guess it is a really sensitive subject. And I was talking to Josh in the last night about this, and you know, I said, why do you not like really talk to me about my mum and stuff? And he openly said, you know, I just don't want to upset you. I don't want to force you into something that you might not want to talk about. So he sort of just leaves me to guide the conversation, and then he'll like talk a little bit, but not all that much. He just sort of like leaves me. He knows now if I need to like just vent about my mum or talk about her, or he will just sit and not really saying all that much. But I guess that's a good thing because it really does help me get stuff off my chest. So I will try and fetch him on so we can see what it's like for somebody who has been with me through the whole journey. So, no time to cry. Okay, this name actually came to light 2 weeks after my mum passed away. And the reason why No Time to Cry name came to mind was I was in so much grief admin. I think it's here to say my mum and dad had separated a few years prior to my mum's passing, and we had a lot, and I mean a lot, of putting pieces of the puzzle together. You know, dealing with did she have a will? Did she have insurance? Who was her insurance with? Who did she bank with? Things like that. Things that you wouldn't even think of asking your parents or your loved ones, you know, in the event of your death. Where is all this info? And that's going to be, I'm going to do one full vlog on that, because I think speaking to family and speaking to loved ones and almost like putting things so it's easier for, you know, people who are going through grief and have lost a loved one, just making things a little bit easier on the grief admin side, because that just consumed me for so long. And I feel like my grieving process was actually delayed through that, because you were on with this, on with that, on with the other, then you were sorting the funeral, then you were sorting the chapel arrest, then you were sorting this, then you saw, there was just so much in them first few weeks. Plus, we were in a global pandemic. We were in the middle of COVID. And again, I'll talk more on that, because it was a really, really unusual time. There was restrictions. There were restrictions on a funeral. It was just horrendous. And at a time when I needed people, I could have very easily fell off the bandwagon, so to speak. And yeah, I didn't. I had to stay very, very, very strong-headed and strong-minded, and it was bloody hard. It was very hard. But yes, No Time to Cry came to light because there was no time to cry. The only time that I really had to cry was when I was in the bath, driving on my own, walking the dog. I would sob, absolutely sob. I can't tell you how much I would sob. But yeah, we'll go more into that. But today I just want to set the scene, get you guys here, get you to see me. I've done a bit of an intro on my mum, you know, the cause of her death. And I really hope that these vlogs are a comfort to you, and I hope that you can relate in some way, if you've lost a loved one, or if you're on your grieving journey, or you're on the caring for somebody who's on their grieving journey. I really hope that these vlogs are relatable and just make you feel somewhat normal, because at times I did think I was losing my mind, and at times it was lonely. It was really lonely. And who did you speak to? You know, who did you speak to? And I did have therapy, and again, we will go into more depth on that. I will do a series of vlogs on different aspects of the grieving journey, because if I was to sit here and talk about my 2 years, trust me, this vlog I don't think would ever end. So let's just keep it sweet for the first one. We're gonna laugh, we're gonna cry, we're gonna delve, we're gonna go deep, and I want you guys to ask me questions. I want you to comment. I want you to make me really, I'm going to be vulnerable, and I'm really stepping out of my comfort zone doing this, but I think it's important. I don't think people talk about grief enough. I don't think people talk about their grieving experience enough. And if this helps just one person, then I'll be absolutely over the moon. So please like, please comment, please share, please subscribe, and I look forward to you joining me on me explaining my grieving journey and telling you all about No Time to Cry. So thank you so much for watching my first video. I hope it's given you a little bit of a flavour, and I will see you all on the second one.